All right, again, welcome for everyone. This is a little bit different type of presentation today. This is designed to be a very short one, which I know everybody who knows me, and especially those who work with me, realize that that is not always my specialty of making things very nice and quick. But this is really a kind of an add-on to the presentations that we have done about all of this MSU plan transition that's in progress right now. Those presentations have been recorded and are accessible on our website, actually on our YouTube channel. So I'll show you how to get to that here in just a second. But this presentation is specifically designed to talk about distributions and continuing distributions with the transition that is going. I can see from the from the group here, we know a lot of you are getting distributions now. Perhaps all of you are getting distributions now, whether it's monthly or on some other type of recurring status. And you have heard us warn you / make you aware of the fact that when these plans transition, that some of these things will not continue automatically. And then what really prompted the timing of this session was the letter that went out specifically from TIAA a few days ago that I know got people's attention. Okay, so I'm going to guess that the vast majority of you have accounts at TIAA. I know for a fact that many of you have TIAA, but even if you have Fidelity, this has the chance of impacting you. Okay, it's very fixable and it's not a problem, but we thought it would be best to just run through the mechanics of this and explain kind of how this is happening, why this is happening, and what you / we will need to do to make sure this is going. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen in a minute, but I just want to talk through it real quickly. So remember what's happening here. This is just a quick reminder or kind of rehash of part of the presentation that we've already done, which is to say that the change that is happening right now is different than the plan change that happened in 2012 in a couple of ways. And the most important one and the one that is related to this whole distribution issue, is the fact that in 2012, MSU did not require you to move any money from the old plans to the new / current plans. And with this transition, there are, again, at Fidelity, there is not a new plan being created. The post-2012 plan is the plan. At TIAA, there is a new plan or set of plans being created. So instead of just saying old and new, we're going to have to say old, current, and new. And then in a few weeks, we're going to have to change those words again. But when we say current, we're referring to the post-2012 up until now balances. New is going to be the balances that are coming, or excuse me, the contract structures that are coming soon. And that's actually kind of the foundation of this. And this is true at both Fidelity and TIAA, but it's especially true at TIAA. What a lot of people don't realize is that when you have an account at one of these places, how do we describe it, right? We just say, oh, well, we have an account at TIAA, or we have our accounts at Fidelity. And that's accurate, and it's not incorrect to say it. But technically, what you have are a series of contracts, okay? And they might all be 403Bs, or they can, maybe it's 457 or something else. But what you have are series of contracts within TIAA, okay? The old plan, you have them. You have the current plan, you have them. In the new plan, you will have at least one, possibly two or three more. When you log in, you'll see all of these things, okay? The reason why that's relevant with these distributions is that when you set up investment in, or excuse me, when you set up distribution instructions on these accounts, those instructions are not at TIAA at the kind of top level. They're not at Fidelity at the top level. They are implemented on the underlying contracts that you hold within those providers. And what's about to happen is that it's not so much that all of the contracts are going to be eliminated right off the bat, but the issue is a lot of the money is going to be forced to move from the legacy / current contracts into the new contract or the current contract if it's Fidelity. And the instructions for those distributions will not automatically transition to those new contracts. Okay, so it's not that they're deleting your instructions, it's that the contracts that actually hold the money now will be significantly altered, and much, if not all, of the money will go out of those particular buckets. Okay, that's why it won't continue past some of these planned transition timeframes, right? So, as I said at the beginning, this is very fixable, but we can't fix it, and we can help you fix it, right? But we can't fix it at TIAA. I'm going to focus on them for a few minutes. At TIAA, we can't actually fix it until the new contracts actually show up, right? And that's not happening quite yet. So I'm going to share my screen. I know there's going to be a lot of words on this. You don't have to read all of these things, but I just want to have this so that it's there. It's also part of the recording, so that you can come back and reference it. Okay, can everybody see that? All right. Now, if you have TIAA accounts, you have received a transition guide from them that shows, it's about 12 pages long. It has a ton of detail in it. This is a shot of that actual booklet. Okay, so here are the time frames that are important. So some of you, many of you have money at TIAA specifically here. Many of you have money in both the old and the current plans. Okay, and when you have distribution instructions set up, many of you, most of you, those instructions and the money that comes out of those contracts comes out pro rata. It comes out proportionally across all of the contracts and all of the balances. Here's why that's a problem in the next couple of months. So sometime on or about, they're scheduled October 17th, the new contracts that will contain the codes RC and RCP will be visible in your accounts. Okay. Sometime during that week, we don't know exactly when, but sometime during that week, most, if not all, of the money that is in your current plans, the post-2012 contracts, will transition into these soon-to-be created contracts. Okay, so right off the bat, if you have a distribution going and you have money in the current plans, meaning you put money into this plan after 2012, even if you're retired now, if you have a distribution that goes across all of the contracts, the first point at which that distribution could be impacted is mid-October. Okay, so then there's going to be two waves of this. You got to keep it fun, everybody. You got to have more than one rule and more than one time frame. But the same thing is going to happen again in December. Many of you, most of you, perhaps all of you, also have money in the pre-2012 balances. Those balances are going to move into the new contracts. Most of the money will move into the new contracts in early December. Again, it says the week of December 12th. We don't know the exact date, but the same thing will happen. If you have distribution instructions going that are across all of your existing contracts, some of those contracts will no longer have funds, and those instructions, because they don't automatically transfer to the new contracts, will not be reflected. So I wish there was a simple way to tell you this. I wish there was one button that we could push that will fix it. But if you have TIAA accounts and you have money in the old and current plans, and you have a monthly distribution going, we probably need to tweak this twice over the rest of the year to make sure you get your money. Okay. Otherwise, you might get some of it, but you won't get all of it. So depending on the actual time of the month that your distribution hits, it might be impacted in October. It would definitely be impacted in November and December. Okay. So we have already spoken with a number of you. If you have this going on, we're keeping a list at StraightLine for all of us. We're keeping a list of everyone we are speaking with to know who we have to reach out to. But if you have ongoing distributions, the best thing to do is just let us know, okay? Because we have it in our records, we can see it, we have some ways that we can verify it, but it's not a bad idea to just let us know. If anything, you might be on our list multiple times, which is a good thing. Okay. Now don't panic. All right. Even if let's say that you have your distribution going on the 18th or 19th of the month, and the instruction or the distribution, the attempt happens on the exact same day that the money moves, and you don't get all of your distribution on one day. Don't panic. We can get it back, and we can get it even likely that day, but we have to do this with you on the phone. Okay. So it's very easily fixable. And there are some things, if you're concerned about the timing, if you're concerned about a couple of days potentially, here or there of a distribution being received, if you're concerned about that impacting your situation, give us a call ahead of time. There are other ways that we could fix this. We could nudge a little bit more money out ahead of time. There's a lot of different options. Okay. So, but that is the basic reason as to why this is being impacted specifically at TIAA. Okay. Now, if you have Fidelity, I'm going to switch gears for just a second. Fidelity is a little bit easier. Okay. And it's easier because the post 2012 accounts are not changing. So some people with Fidelity accounts, they have distributions that are already set to go just from that contract, and then it's no problem. But don't assume that if you have Fidelity that everything is fine. We need to verify that with you, okay? But remember, the only thing that's happening that is meaningful in terms of money moving around for Fidelity is also happening sometime in that early December timeframe. And what's happening is the pre-2012 money at Fidelity is just going into the current account, all right? So, but same thing, if your instructions are set up for your distribution to come from that old plan or to come across both plans and a change is not made, you won't get your money, or at least you won't get all of it. Once again, very fixable, very easy. But for Fidelity accounts, you really only have one time frame to worry about, and that's early December. Okay. So that's it. Now, just as a quick aside, if you happen to have distributions coming from any of the other legacy providers, Vanguard would be the most common one, then the time frame that I just mentioned for Fidelity is the same. Okay, the impact is going to be felt when the Vanguard accounts move into Fidelity as well, which is slated to be early December, right? So so any of the legacy providers, that's probably the time frame, and it's probably going to be one fix for it. With TIAA, there's most likely two if you're taking regular distributions, say monthly distributions. Okay. Now, in saying all of this stuff, I'm going to say one more time, I kind of glazed over a few different concepts that are important to the actual plan transition. And if you'd like to see a little bit more detail of that, this is a picture of our website. And if you see that bright red button on there, that is the direct link to our YouTube channel. So if you go to straightline.com/MSU, any of the pages on our website will have that button on there. Oh, as a quick aside, our website, we're actually changing our website here very soon. We're excited about it, probably in the next few weeks. But either way, it's going to have that logo on there. So keep an eye on that, and but feel free to click on there. There's a couple different recent presentations that we have done. One of them was specifically on this plan transition. The other one was the plan transition plus some market thoughts. But anyway, those are all recorded on there as well. Okay, so that's the semi-quick version, but obviously we'll open it up for any questions. Oh, one other thing before you do that, going back to our website, this is also where if you'd like to schedule an individual time with us, whether it's phone, Zoom, or in person, the button right here directly underneath the YouTube button, you can see it's a little small, but it says book now. You can actually schedule a time directly on our website, or just give us a call. Give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'll get you we'll get a time booked with you, either with myself or Jason Fisher, who is actually meeting with someone as we speak, which is why he's not on here. Beth Mosshart is on this call. Mike Rice is on this call. There's other people that can help you with this conversation as well. But it's just a little bit of logistical planning to make sure that everything keeps flowing in the way that it needs to for you. All right. So with that, I'm going to stop the share. Does anybody have any questions about this? Feel free.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah.
John Filipich, how are you?
Good, John. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Unfortunately, I talked to TIAA yesterday, and it took them almost 15 minutes to try and find the communication they actually sent us. So the representative was totally unaware of it. He tried to tell me to call him on the 17th, and I didn't need your intervention, but you know, that's not going to happen. I've got an appointment with you. Once the details of our three-way phone call with TIAA are completed, what type of an impact is that going to have on the distribution for October?
It shouldn't have any impact at all.
Okay.
So the only thing, and I'll come back to the first part of what you said in just a second, but the only thing that's changing here is the location of the money, the specific contracts that actually hold the money. So once we just reset the instructions to reflect the contract structures that actually contain the money will keep flowing out in exactly the same way. Okay. It's just we have to tie the instructions to the buckets where the money actually is. Okay. And unfortunately, because it's switching twice, we have to do it twice. Right.
Understand.
But yeah, this is the other part. I appreciate you saying that. You know, this is not to say you can't call TIAA or you shouldn't call TIAA. Those of you working with StraightLine, we can do this for you. The instructions are actually set in online. We just need you on the phone to actually verify it, and then they send they typically send a code to verify it. So this is not a function that StraightLine or anybody else has. Even if we're managing the account, we can't do that without you on the phone, which we shouldn't. That's, you know, for security and everything else, privacy, etc. Fidelity's process is very similar. It has a couple of other quirks to it, but yeah, the bottom line is this is some pretty detailed stuff, and TIAA especially. If I may, it's kind of like speaking a language, and we speak TIA here, and we're pretty fluent. We're pretty fluent in TIA, And you kind of have to be, because the different contract structures have slightly different rules. Some of them affect this, some of them don't affect this at all. Some of them affect other details. This is all stuff that we're doing for you behind the scenes. But you have to know not just the TIA rules and the contract structures, but also how all this money is moving around. And if I may, and I'm not saying this to knock TIAA, but all of their people on their 800 number are not going to be, going to be up to speed necessarily with what is happening at this particular plan. Okay, so yeah, I certainly understand what you, the discussion you had, John, and but we are more than prepared to fix this. But it's our knowledge of it that honestly lets us know that we have to do this twice.
Well, the fact that we partner with you anyway is the biggest thing that's going to make sure that this gets done twice and it gets done right twice. I'm not going to go off on my own, but thank you.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good, okay.
Yes.
I'm Donna Miller, and
Yes, Donna.
so should we call you then to help us with this distribution and sort of just leave TIA out of it?
Yeah, again, yes, I'm sorry, Donna, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Do I make an appointment? Do I call you? I mean, I'm desperate.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to be desperate. You don't have to be scared. Believe me, I understand where you're coming from. Yes, give us a call. I'd say the easiest thing is to set up a time. We've been meeting with a lot of folks just over the last few weeks, where we, and even from those discussions, which cover a lot of detail, it's helping us identify and prepare for who we need to call and at what specific times we need to call them to reach out. So just feel free to do this. Don't necessarily feel that you have to get it timed perfectly. Just come on in whenever you're free, or give us a call whenever you're available, and we can customize this answer to you. Even some of the things that I've said today, depending on how your exact structure is, there might be a few things. Oh, well, we may have to do it this way, or oh, you have this, therefore we do it at a slightly different time. So there are a couple of things that are unique to this, and we do have data, and we are kind of mining all of our data to do the absolute best we can to reach out to people that we haven't spoken with or that we will not have spoken with at that point. But the simplest way to ensure that there's no disruption is to just give us a call and get on one of our calendars.
Okay, and so it does say that my payments that you stated, they're going to be stopped during the week of October 17th.
Yeah.
If they don't have those updated investment instructions. And that's probably right about the time that I get my distribution every month.
Yep.
And so I would not like to miss a month, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to. I don't know.
No. You will not have to. No.
Okay.
So the only thing that might be impacted on is it might be a day here or there. Okay, but it's very fixable. Even if we have to kind of manually fix it for a short period of time, yeah, you're not going to have to miss a month. You do not have to prepare for that. I would always say, regardless of changes, I would hope and I don't mean this for you, I just mean for anyone. If you don't want to cut it so close that even a day here or there, or a weekend or a long weekend would be a problem, and I don't suspect that that's the issue for you. But that's just, for general planning purposes. Okay. But no, you will not have to miss a month, even if we have to go in and do a manual process, within a day or two of when it's supposed to hit. Absolutely not.
So what I understand, this process does not seem as complicated when I have you do it. It won't be as complicated for me when I go through the proper procedures of calling you and setting up an appointment, and we'll go through all that.
Yes, ma'am.
About this. Okay. Thank you so much, Mike.
We can do the whole thing. We can do the whole thing for you. We just need you with us, at least just on the phone when we do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, really quick. I just want to say I appreciate the fact that you're preventing a general freak out here.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, that's really the main goal is to ensure that everybody knows that this is, you know, I mean, listen, we read that letter. Okay. Again, I got to be careful here. I am being recorded. But I'm not saying this to knock anybody or to knock TIAA. The problem is the way that they have to say these things sometimes doesn't exactly answer some questions in the way that I think some people would typically ask them.
Right.
So when we saw how some of these things were worded, and obviously our phones lit up the other day, and some of you on this very call I know have reached out to us too. So this will hopefully help with those answers, and for those people that are still going to be learning about this. Some people, as we all know, they're not going to learn about this until something doesn't show up. But either way, this is precisely the idea with this communication, is just to say, yes, we are aware of it. Yes, we can fix it. Yes, there are some steps that need to be taken, or at least a step that will have to be taken. But it is very fixable, and you will not go without because of this transition. But we do have to intervene, most likely.
Okay. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's our pleasure.
I'm sorry to run. I have to do that. I have another call I have to get on, but I'm looking forward to talking to all of you soon. We can't help you on the 17th of October. We know that we won't be able to help you on the 17th, maybe later that week or the beginning of the next week, but we'll be ready. And as Mike says, once you speak to you and you understand what they're trying to do, it makes it easier for us to help and to not have everybody freak out. So thanks. Nice to see you. Carry on. Sorry.
Thanks, Beth. No, so yeah, just to clarify that a little bit more, what she meant there when she said we can't speak to you on the 17th, or we can't fix this on the 17th. That's not exactly what she meant. It doesn't mean that we can't speak with you on the 17th. It just means that to fix the 17th is when the contracts are going to show up, but it's likely not the day when the money is going to actually move. Okay, so we can't actually fix this until the money moves. So it might be later that week, but believe me, we will be open and available on the 17th, because that's going to be a kind of a busy day for everybody. So yeah, but she's right that we may not be able to put these instructions in. Right now, it just says the week of the 17th is when this money is going to move. So we don't know. I'm not sure they know precisely when everybody's is going to hit. But it is sometime within a few days of that we will be able to do it. So, if your distribution is at the beginning or the end of a month, you got a few days to play with. If it hits right in the middle, that's what I was saying, is it might be impacted by a day or two, but extraordinarily fixable. Okay. Any other questions for us? There's a chat. Hang on, let me just double check that. Oh, thank you, Tess. Any other questions for us? All right. If you have any other ones, please feel free to call us. We can customize this answer right to you. Thanks everybody for your time today, and you'll be hearing more from us in the near future.
let's hope.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
I think you'll be hearing more from us too.
Yes, that's good. Please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.